but that's my answer is immediately. I don't, and I think in general, this is the thing I'll say. Okay. One is I think people overestimate the amount of work the other people are doing, right? I do this too. Sometimes I think maybe a little too much credit to the market, so to speak. Personally, this is not to say that you should underestimate the market either, especially if you're new at this. But, I think sometimes people have, especially with like live lines, for instance, right? Like I just said, the live lines are not strong. They're not. Okay. And I think sometimes people might have this assumption that like, oh, NFL live lines, there must be like an office of, data science PhDs, like hired by, NASA to churn out the optimal NFL. And that's just not how it works. Like full stop. That's not how it works at all. So I think sometimes people have a misunderstanding of exactly where the lines come from, how strong they are. So the more you learn about the space, the more you understand what's on the other side of your bet. That's really the key. Okay. If you don't understand what's on the other side of your bet, you probably shouldn't be betting. That's a key point, right? Like, and what I mean is, okay, you see a line on a screen. Okay, I see, so-and-so's receiving yards over 34.5. Well, my question to you is, how is that line there? Why is it 34.5? Why is it sitting there for you to bet on draft dual fan kings?
Right.
Whatever, why is that offered to you? Who's offering it to you? Where does that number come from? Who's making that number? Right? How does that number get updated? Right? And the more you know about the answers to those questions, the more you could just go and bet. Because, if you understand what's on the other side and you're like, well, this is what's on my side. I did this work, right? This is okay. I do projections work and I do it this way. And I think I have this trick that I use that I think other people aren't using, that maybe does it a little better. Or maybe I'm accounting for someone's injury a little better than everyone else or whatever, right? You know what you did, right? Betting is, someone else made a number. Well, how did they make that number? Maybe they are super smart. Maybe you're not. You probably should be betting in them then. But often they aren't super smart. Often it's, it's some company, right? The way, like the answer to the question of where does, so-and-so's over 63.5, whatever, is that there's some company that churns these things out, right? What's the quality of the work they do? Well, it's up and down, right? It's a company. It's just like any other company. Sometimes the work is good. Sometimes the work is not so good, right? They've got individual people ultimately doing work at the company, right? Maybe they're all at Christmas party this weekend. They're real people and they just do work, and sometimes it's good and sometimes it's not so good. And the only way to get a feel for it is to pay attention. This is what drives me crazy is people say, well, how do you know? And it's like, well, you have to do it. You have to engage with the prices. If you think you're going to win at, baseball betting and you don't want to look at any price, it's like you're not going to win, right? Like the way to win is to actually do it and look at the prices day after day after day after day. And then every once in a while you'll notice, wait a second, every Thursday at 2 p.m. the guy goes out for a smoke break. There's no way to know that unless you actually do it, right? And that kind of stuff comes up all over the place in sports betting, like all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, you'll see different things. If you're following the markets closely, you'll see just different things with different books or different props at different books, maybe that they're not pricing certain props properly.
There's patterns.
Yep.
You'll pick up on patterns. You'll be like, this book is always late. They always put up some garbage first, and then you get 10 minutes to bet it, and then they pull it down and they copy. I mean, there's just craziness that happens with all this pricing. And again, literally, you just have to be there to see it day in and day out.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you like this content.